Okay, so this is section 4.5, Algebra 1, page 254. It's called Correlation and Causation. Okay, we've talked a little bit about correlation. Remember we're discussing, if I can move this here, we're discussing bivariate data. Bivariate data, which means that there's an X and a Y, correct? Bivariate data. All right, and we talked about a correlation where the correlation has a relationship between the 2 points. I believe, for example, we did this, right? What kind of correlation is that? It's a positive correlation. As we go left to right, it's going up. We had a positive, we had a negative, didn't we? Okay, so you kind of understand correlation. C-O-R-R-E-L-A-T-I-O-N. It's a relationship, right? Okay. A relationship. Sorry, I'm using a different marker and it's huge. So maybe I try to use this one. So tell me if you can read this all right. I'm going to go to blue. The next word we're going to talk about is causation. Can you see that all right? It is spelled C-A-U-S-A-T-I-O-N. Causation, it's where a change in one variable causes a change in another variable. Where a change in one variable causes, that's where it gets its name, causes a change in the other variable. Okay? Bless you. Okay, folks, let me give you an example of just a real life. Does any of you have a job? Okay, all right. So have you ever seen somebody that had a job that they were paid by the hour?
Yeah.
Okay. What happens when you work more hours? You get paid more. This is a causation. Okay, this is a causation because the number of hours actually causes you to make more money, correct? Do you understand that? So one variable affects the other one. Does that make sense to you? Okay, let's take a look at on page 254, example 1. We're going to actually do one, then we're going to actually do one from the assignment. But I just want to get an overview of this one. Do I need to put it on? I think I can put it on here so that you can see it. It's this one right here. And I'll read it. You're not going to be able to see that in your book, but I will read it to you so you know. I'm going to go ahead and read it, Jackson, so you stay with us. The local Humane Society tracks the number of dogs and cats that are adopted each month. The table shows a record for 5 months. You can see the number of days and the number of, the month, and then the number of dogs and the number of cats. You understand? So, explaining it to you, the number of dogs they had in January was 90 and cats was 124. Most generally, are they going to have more cats or dogs? Probably cats, all right? Cats have bigger litters, right? Then they graph it to the right there. Do you see it? Is there a correlation there? Yes. Tell me what kind of correlation that is. It is a positive correlation. Do you see the dots are going up as we go out? Tater, do you have any questions about that? Okay, so it has a positive correlation. And then it says, determine whether the data shows causation. Does one variable cause the other? Does one variable cause the other? In other words, does the number of cats or the number of dogs on the x-axis have anything to do with the number of cats on the y-axis? No. No. Can you explain to me something, though? Are the numbers going up as the months? Do we have the months on there? They're not. Okay? They're just showing the different numbers there. And the months don't matter, does it? So we can't really tell if winter months there are more animals or summer months. We can't really tell, can we? Okay? What would you guess? Would there be more cats and dogs in the Humane Society pound in the summer or the winter? I'm not sure, because they usually breed more in the summer, don't they? Spring and the summer? So I don't know. That would be an interesting study in itself, wouldn't it? Okay. Well, enough of that, Mr. Ellis. Let's turn to page 256. I'm going to do one of these problems. That you're going to have to do is number 6. Okay? And I'm going to do it for you. You're going to use your graph paper to do it, and you're going to write it on paper however you want to do it. I'm going to start with the graph here. Let's read number 13. And it says, guy's name is really good, although it's spelled wrong. It says, analysis. Darren decides to track the number of off hours he spends doing chores each week. He wants to compare them to the number of text messages he sends. Oh, that's interesting. The table shows the number of hours he does chores and the number of text messages he graphs each week. Graph the order pairs as a scatter plot, hours doing chores, text messages sent. Okay, so we're going to look at this, and we're going to do hours we're going to do hours down here. So I'm going to go ahead and label this. I'm going to use red so you can see it a little bit better. I don't want to use, so this is hours of chores. Okay? And we're only going to use this, aren't we? Hours of chores. Let's see if I have it better red. And then the left-hand side is the messages sent. So the first line is the X, and the second line is the Y. So this is text, messages, and I'm not going to put sent. I'm assuming that if you're going to write a text message that you're going to send it. Okay? All right. You see that? Now, you'll notice that the hours of chores are very small numbers, aren't they? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to break the y-axis up, but we're not going to break the x-axis up. So I'm just going to say this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4. I don't know how many hours is the biggest one. 4.5, right? So am I done? Yeah. Now the y is totally different. The y starts at 123? No, 120, right? All right. So I'm going to break it. I'm going to break this up. And it looks like this. We break it. Ding. We go across it like this. So it's broken. So that tells the reader that we're going to break. And I'm going to start with 110. I could have started with 120. That means 110 messages sent. I'm curious. Are any of you going, I wonder how many I sent? I'm curious. I don't know. We'll think about that in a minute. We're going to go by tens then. Do you see how I broke it? And how high do I go? What's the highest one? 165? So I got to go to 170, don't I? Okay. Does everybody see what I'm doing here? Yeah. Jackson, do you have any questions at this time? Did you see why I had to break the y-axis and do that jump? Yeah. Okay. Could this number have been 120? Probably, but I kind of wanted some leeway so my picture is not all gobbled up. Okay, so I wanted some space there. All right, let's go through and see if we can graph these. 2, which is right here at 123, which is about right there. Correct? Is everybody good? All right. 4, 152. So 4, 152 would be, here's 4, and 152 is about right here. I'm just estimating, right? 2.5 and 130. So 2.5 and 130 is right in the middle, and it actually is on a line in the middle, isn't it? Okay. Is there any questions about how I'm doing this? Chuck, you okay? And then we have 4.5165, so 4.5165 is about right, and that's in the middle of a square, isn't it? And then 1.5125 would be right in the middle there. And then 120, so 120 would be about right here. Okay. Does everybody see that, how that's graphed? And Tirsa, you okay? Okay, so then the next question says, is the correlation positive or negative? All right, is this positive or negative? I'm going to do all the answers on this, but you can do it on a different piece of paper if you want. This is number 6. This is 6A, so I'm on 6B. 6B says, is it a negative or positive correlation? Which is it? It is a positive correlation. Okay, it's a positive correlation. And then it says 6C, does this, it says, does the data illustrate causation? In other words, does one number affect the other one? How many of you think no? No. Raise your hand. Okay, how many of you think yes? Raise your hand. Okay, so everybody thinks no, right? All right, well, you're right. There is no causation. The number of hours is, he's probably doing text messages while he's working. Unfortunately, that's the case, isn't it? Okay, but no, there is no causation. Do you have any questions on that? Ashley? No? No. Okay, so we want to do numbers 4 through 6, and you're going to graph each one. This is the only one that's broken that you have to break. The rest of them you can kind of put on a graph. This is the only one I had to break because the numbers were so big. You got that, Tyra? Okay, so we're good there. Caden, so we're going to do 4 through 6. You're going to, they pretty much follow the same pattern. You've got to graph it. Then you're going to ask if the correlation is positive, negative. Now it says explain. So I'm not going to have you explain because we've talked about correlation, right? Okay. Let's jump to 8 through 10. We're going to add those two. This assignment hopefully you can get done in the class period. But it says determine whether each illustration illustrates correlation but not causation or causation. So you can either have correlation but not causation, or you can have causation. One of the two answers. Okay? So let's take a look at number 8. It says the local hardware store noticed a positive correlation between the number of snow shovels and the pounds of salt purchased each day. Does one affect the other? Does buying snow shovels affect the amount of salt that you... No, it doesn't. So we have correlation but not causation. We have correlation but not causation. So I see some people writing that answer down. It might not be a bad one to write down, right? So Jackson, you got a 50-50 shot here. You either got correlation but not causation, or you got causation as your answer. That's all right. Those 250. Now, I'm going to say this while I'm videotaping. You should be done with this assignment hopefully by the end of the period. Tomorrow's assignment is a little bit longer, but it's not way out in left field. It's just talking about inverses. So you have a test on what day? Friday. Folks, I'm going to challenge you to start studying for that test now. A lot of you still are struggling with writing in slope-intercept form and standard form, those kind of things. Okay? Would you like your quiz? I can't give your quizzes back. Okay? That quiz is a lot of what the test is going to be starting out at. So you need to go back. There's a review at the end of the chapter, but do not wait until the night before the test to start studying for the test. That is not the way to prepare. Start now. Jackson, if you want to come in, start now. Okay? All right. Your assignment is page 256, and Ashley's going to write this on the board. Numbers 4 through 6. Thank you, Ashley. 8 through 10. So you're doing 3 graphs, and then you're done. All right? Good luck. and hopefully you get it done by the end of the period. Okay?